Hey, friend. Welcome to the Hearts Hello Show. This is a space where we stop pretending everything is fine and start telling the truth about what it actually takes to grow. Because the reality is, life will stretch you. It will challenge your mindset, test your character, and reveal the places where what you say you believe and how you actually live don't always match. And that's where the real work begins. So here we talk about authenticity, faith, personal responsibility, relationships, and the internal alignment required to become who you were created to be. So wherever you are right now, take a breath, slow down, and let's have the conversation your heart has been waiting for. Hey, real quick, grab a chair. I just want to chat for a moment because it's something that's on my mind from our conversation last week. And I'll just pull you into my world really quickly as I'm pressing play to record this episode. Last week, we talked about doors. And so what is happening right now? Someone is knocking at my door. Not only are they knocking, they also rang the doorbell, I guess, because I didn't answer. And I'm not going to answer because I didn't ask for anyone to come over. But I digress. Like I said, last week we were talking about testing the doors. And sometimes we assume a door is locked just because it's closed. And I know that you do your homework over here because you tune in each and every week. And so last week's assignment was for you to test some doors. But this week, I just want to ask you something from that assignment. What did you notice? Not just around you. What did you notice about you? Because here's what I learned. The moment you become intentional about looking for doors, your vision changes. So you start seeing opportunities you've never noticed before. You start recognizing patterns that you've overlooked for years. You start noticing distractions that have probably always been there. And here's the one I really want us to sit with today. You also start noticing doors that need to stay closed. And some doors were never actually closed in the first place. See, that's a different conversation. So see, we spend a lot of time asking God to open doors, but how often do we ask Him to show us which ones to close? Or better yet, which ones we've accidentally left cracked open? Because sometimes it's not a new opportunity that's keeping us stuck. Sometimes it's the old access that we've never removed. Maybe you've forgiven someone, but you still allow their opinion to determine your worth. Maybe you said you were done settling, but every time loneliness shows up, you reopen the same door. Or maybe you've prayed about peace, but you keep opening the door to comparison every single day. Or maybe you've been asking for healing while leaving the door open to the very thoughts that keep reminding you of who you used to be. See, can I tell you something? Not every door deserves your attention. Just like I told you, I had people knocking at my door, ringing the doorbell. It got my attention briefly, but it didn't stop me from doing what it was that I was recording for you all. Why? Because I'm not expecting anyone. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. You can ring the doorbell, you can knock, but I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. So again, not every opportunity even deserves your yes. Not every conversation deserves your energy. Not every invitation even deserves your presence. See, this is where discernment comes in. And people will ask all the time, well, what does discernment look like? For me, discernment looks like slowing down before I respond. It looks like asking, just because I can, does that mean I should? It looks like feeling that gentle pause in my spirit that says, hey, don't rush this. See, sometimes discernment doesn't sound loud at all. Sometimes it sounds like peace. Sometimes it sounds like discomfort. Sometimes it sounds like something about this just doesn't sit right. Or maybe that this is good, but it's not for you. See, discernment isn't fear. Fear tells you to run from everything. Discernment helps you recognize what's worth walking towards and what's worth walking away from. There's a difference. And the more you practice it, the more familiar that difference becomes. Because here's something else I've been thinking about. See, the Bible tells us there's nothing new under the sun. Think about that. Nothing new. Different faces, different jobs, different cities, different relationships, different seasons. But many of the lessons are the same. The question is, will you recognize them this time? Because life has a funny way of bringing the same lesson back around. Not because God is trying to punish you, but because there's still something he wants you to see. See, have you ever found yourself saying, why does this keep happening to me? Or maybe it's not that life keeps changing. Maybe the lesson keeps presenting itself until you recognize it. Maybe every relationship isn't the problem. Maybe every job isn't the problem. Every relationship or friendship isn't the problem. Maybe life keeps placing a familiar door in front of you to see if you'll reach for a different handle this time. Will you choose differently? Will you respond differently? Will you finally close the door you've kept reopening? Or will you finally open the one fear has convinced you to avoid? See, that's discernment. It's recognizing that although the scenery may change, the lesson might be the same. And once you recognize the lesson, you don't have to keep repeating the cycle. See, that's the growth. That's the wisdom. That's human compliance. It's about becoming so aware of how you move through life that you stop living on autopilot, where you're no longer reacting. You start responding, where you stop asking what or why does this always happen to me? And you start asking, what is this trying to teach me? See, Heart Seekers, I want to give you another assignment this week because that's just what I do. I don't just want you to test doors. I want you to walk through the house of your life. Look at every room and ask yourself, what doors have I been begging God to open? What doors have I refused to close? What doors have I left cracked open that keep allowing the same things back into my life? And what lessons keep knocking on my door that I still haven't recognized? And I don't want you to rush those answers. Sit with them, pray over them, journal them. Because I believe this with everything in me that your next breakthrough may not come from discovering a brand new door. It may come from you finally recognizing the one that you've been standing in front of all along. So go test some doors. Close the ones that no longer deserve access. And open the ones that you've been afraid to touch. And above all else, ask God for the discernment to know the difference. And guess what? I'll meet you right back here next week. Before you go, sit with this for a moment. Growth doesn't happen because we heard something inspiring. Growth happens when we become honest enough to examine how we're actually showing up in our lives. So take what resonated with you today, reflect on it, and decide what alignment looks like for you. And if this conversation helped you see something differently, share the episode with someone who might need it too. And if you want to stay connected, you can always find me at the Heart's Hello. Until next time, friend, keep choosing truth, keep doing the work, and keep saying hello to your heart.